I've lived most of my life in extremes, either full throttle or completely unplugged. And while that can have both benefits and drawbacks, I'm starting to live by a different principle. And I call it the dimmer switch principle. And bottom line, life isn't a binary switch, right? It's a figurative dimmer with infinite levels of effort, energy, focus, and passion to play with. I mean, if you think about it, walking into every single room in your life with the lights on high isn't exactly welcoming. It doesn't always fit, right? Maybe a gradual adjusted dimming switch could be installed to set the scene, to create the mood and invite connection depending on the environment. And that's the key, finding the perfect level for every moment, not just blasting on or fading out. Kakuzo Akukura, who wrote the Book of Tea, said, "The art of life lives in a constant readjustment to our surroundings." It's about finding the balance between pushing hard and knowing when to pull back, having the awareness and thoughtfulness to adjust your dimmer based on what's happening around you. In my work with sales teams, I see this principle in action all the time. One minute I'm pumped, leading them through high energy exercises. Then with leadership teams, it's a different level on my switch, right? More measured. It's almost executive style focus. And even within relationships, there's a spectrum. Sometimes a listening ear requires just a flicker of our attention, while other moments call for all-out passionate support. And science backs it up. Research out of Harvard found that individuals who excel at something called emotional agility, adapting their emotional responses to various situations, experience higher levels of well-being and are more resilient in the face of challenges. And it's not about suppressing emotions, it's about skillfully navigating both the highs and the lows. And that's why emotional intelligence has become such a hot topic, because being able to have the self and social awareness and being able to adapt and be adaptable to those environments is necessary, and it's an appreciated skill in today's society. So I'd encourage you to ditch the on-off switch this year and embrace your inner dimmer. Right? I even have a tool for salespeople called the dynamic scale. And it simply guides them through conversations, adjusting their energy from, let's say, active listening to painting vivid pictures, all the while moving up and down like their favorite song. So when we are conscious and intentional with our dynamics and our levels and our interactions, that's when magical things can happen. So we can stop living in black and white. So find your shades of intensity, your unique dimmer switch settings, if you will. It's not about being fake or diminishing your passion. It's about mastering the art of effortful flow. Be the one who can adjust the volume depending on the scene, who builds connections instead of walls, who lights up the room without burning everyone's retinas. I'd love to hear your own dimmer switch moments or settings in the comments, and let's inspire each other to become well-versed in our emotional agility so that we can flow through life with purpose and grace and make a brighter, more dynamic impact on the world, one perfectly adjusted level at a time. Remember, it's not about dimming your light. It's about learning to shine it with intention and being adaptable to the environment to give it just enough light for the step that you're on. Look, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen.
A few months ago, my daughter and I were on an afternoon jog, which we love to do. And they're usually filled with me catching up on all the school drama while checking out all the various grasshoppers, beetles, caterpillars, and other bugs that cross our path along the way. And look, she's always had an incredible imagination. And when she's outside, it seems to just take off. And I get to witness a a younger version of myself, looking at the world with dreams that haven't even been written yet. It can be pretty magical. But on this particular jog, we noticed something out of the ordinary. A tadpole, or what seemed like a very large tadpole with tiny little legs carrying its massive body, and we quickly ran to witness its power as it slowly raced from one edge of the path to the other. Now, of course, we took out our phones like National Geographic photographers and captured this brave soul in action. And we couldn't help but stop and stare for what seemed like hours. Now, once it made it safely to the other side, we moved on, and my daughter couldn't stop marveling over what she had just witnessed. But then, as we reached our rest point, the story took a turn. A bird circled, hungry eyes fixed on our amphibian friend, and my mind flashed with options. I can let nature take its course, or I can intervene. And in an instant, I stepped into my daughter's shoes, and I could feel her sense of urgency and call to action. I mean, there was no other option. It was time to act, and a rescue mission was the only way forward. So in that moment, I became less dad and more protector. I looked at my daughter and let her know, hey, I was on it. And I quickly ran back to the edge of that path, yelling for the bird to get back, and I immediately scooped up the tadpole, this tiny life, cradled in my palm, and rushed it to safety. And my daughter, she wasn't far behind, and when she arrived, she met our little friend with these whispers of encouragement and calm. And we found a bush near a little stream and created a fortress to protect our scared little companion. And we laid it down gently and made sure it was safe. And look, my dad was always protective of nature, but I never really saw that side of myself. But in that moment, with my daughter, who is the ultimate protector, I found a piece of myself that I didn't know existed. And here's why I'm telling this story. Who we are is malleable. Every experience, every interaction, every outdoor adventure shared with a curious child, and it chips away at our established rough edges, and it can reveal something completely new underneath. See, we shape ourselves not just by who we choose to be, but who we allow ourselves to become. Now, this isn't a call to become some nature-protecting superhero. No, it's about opening our minds and our hearts to the lessons around us. You know, being curious to who we could potentially become tomorrow. You know, instead of just shutting that door and saying, hey, that's not me, change comes rapidly. And most of the time it's unexpected. But when we choose to go outside of our program responses, we open the possibilities of growth and exploration. And yes, there are risks. Sure, I mean, the world's a spiky place, but remember, every little choice that we make outside the usual path can open up a new side of ourselves waiting to be unlocked. I mean, who knows what else we're capable of? Who knows how much compassion, empathy, or bravery and courage we have inside? And like that tadpole, we're all on our own journeys. Our paths are filled with challenges and these choices. But when we open up and when we allow ourselves to make new and unexpected choices, maybe guided by those we love and admire, we become something more. We become the light in the darkness, the hand that reaches out, the protector in the face of a circling predator. So today, I challenge you to find your tadpole moment. Be open to the unexpected. Listen to the simple lessons outside of your normal path and take the opportunities to make a difference, no matter how small. See, we're all capable of incredible change. We just need to be open and curious enough to lean in and say yes to it. Just like the tadpole going through its own transformation, we must be open to the same in order to become who we are meant to be. Deepak Chopra says, the universe is constantly in motion. It's always transforming. And if you want to be part of it, you need to be open to change. Now, look, this is easy for someone like me who came from a military family where I went to 4 elementary schools, 3 high schools, and ended up going into 5 colleges until I finally finished my MBA. But research shows that openness to change, saying yes to the unexpected, allows us to adjust to new situations and navigate life's ups and downs more effectively. We develop better coping mechanisms for handling unexpected events and maintaining emotional stability. There's also reports of higher levels of happiness and self-acceptance and resilience in the face of challenges. My wife has always taught our kids 2 things: openness and curiosity. These are life skills that can allow us to experience new sides of ourselves even when we least expect them. So find and hold on to your tadpole moments. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. I want to encourage you to become a shopping list person. When you go to the grocery store, there are 2 scenarios. Either you have a shopping list or you don't. And what happens? If you have the shopping list, you've been adding things, maybe with Alexa, add this, add that. So you walk in and now you have a shopping list. You go to the aisle, maybe you look for a quick sign, or perhaps you ask someone, but you know where you're headed. After you grab each item, you check it off, and item by item, you get this rush. And then, at the end, when you check out, you feel complete. You have everything you need. Then the opposite scenario. When you walk into the grocery store without a shopping list, what happens? You wander. Especially if you're hungry, you're in trouble. Start grabbing things you likely don't need and might spend extra time just wandering up and down the aisles looking for items that might come to mind. You don't really ask anybody anything because you're not really sure what you're looking for. So you're grabbing things, putting them in the cart. And when you check out, well, now you have a bunch of things that you don't need. You walk out and immediately it's like, I have the cookies, but I forgot the milk. And so in life, we have the same opportunity. The grocery store is obviously an analogy for our life. It represents that. And there are things out there. There are aisles and aisles of possibilities, guides along the way, people to help us find what we're looking for. But if we haven't created a shopping list of what we want, of what we're after, then we're just wandering. And after every event, we say, if I only would have, I forgot this. And we want to go back, but it's just easier to move forward. So we go through life and these wandering moments constantly stack up. And they become who we are and what we have and where we are in life. So I invite you to become a shopping list person. Shift your perspective, shift a little bit of your activity so that you're intentional when you walk into that grocery store, whether in your personal life, professional life, your sales career, your goals. Start adding things to your shopping list. And when you arrive at the grocery store and you pop it open, you go for exactly what you want. And maybe you get some guidance along the way, but when you check out, you feel complete. It's undeniable that belief and action are 2 key ingredients for success. Yet, we often underestimate the impact of that tiny word, can. But it holds tremendous power when it comes to unlocking our performance and our potential. I remember listening to Tony Robbins years ago, and he said, quite simply, look, when you must, your mind and your body says, okay, I can and I will. So when you must, you can. I think about someone on a performance improvement plan, right? They're given 2 weeks to turn it around, and all of a sudden the light goes on, the activity changes, and they turn it around. When you must, you can. Research in psychology confirms the influence of belief on our performance. I was reading a study by Dr. Aaliyah J. Crum and her team at Stanford, and they revealed that belief can activate the body's self-healing mechanisms, leading to improved physical health. So when participants believed that they were receiving an effective treatment, they experienced significant symptom relief, even though they were given a placebo. This simple study just demonstrates the profound impact of belief on our well-being. As our mindset can be the catalyst for extraordinary results. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." See, these words encapsulate the truth that our beliefs shape our actions and our outcomes. I mean, imagine those times in our life when we are wholeheartedly embracing that growth mindset, right? We are all in. We view challenges as opportunities for growth. We take proactive steps to enhance our skills. Our unwavering belief in our potential fuels our motivation, our resilience, and the ability to surpass any target that's in front of us. We're like a superhero, right? We're unstoppable. And in those moments, we become the driving force behind our success. Then, when we take that belief and add action to it, it's like a secret recipe or gas on a flame, right? That simple combination is where the magic happens. And that's why the two go together so well, belief and action. There was another study coming out of Dominican University of California, and Dr. Gail Matthews found that individuals who wrote down their goals and action steps were significantly more likely to achieve them compared to those who just thought about their goals. She concluded that writing activates the subconscious mind, solidifying commitment and focus. So belief, followed by action, works. Then you add in the right motivation, and all of a sudden, when you must, you can. So let's put these simple insights into action right now. Wherever you are, if you can, pause this for just a second, grab a pen, paper, open your notes up, even do a voice memo, whatever works for you, but I want you to write down, articulate your goals. And it doesn't have to be too structured, don't overthink it, but write down both short and long-term goals. Can be professional, can be personal, but then outline the specific action steps necessary to achieve them. Break it down into manageable tasks. If you already have this, just get it out so that you can have it in front of you and review it. But as you write, as you articulate this, immerse yourself in the belief that you can accomplish these objectives. Envision the excitement of getting closer and closer to knocking out one goal at a time. Feel the satisfaction of surpassing your targets and the positive impact you can make on the lives of others. And let that belief guide your actions. Remember, belief simply sets the stage for success, but it is the integration of belief with deliberate action that propels us forward. So, commit to your plan. Take consistent steps and persist in the face of challenges. Gandhi has this amazing quote that I love. It's one of those that you can hang up on the wall or tweet out. He says, "Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." You were made for something incredible, and you have what it takes to make it happen. So keep believing, keep striving, keep going, and you'll never stop achieving your goals. Be intentional and take deliberate action, and remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. Now go out there and make it happen. Let's talk about mountains. And not the ones that you see in the paintings coming out of the clouds, but the personal mountaintops that we each strive to reach in our lives. And maybe it's the dream job or opportunity, that business that we're building, that fulfilling relationship, or that life that just makes us feel alive. Yet we can see it so clearly in front of us, but And climbing those mountains can get messy. We trip, we stumble, and sometimes, let's be honest, we fall flat on our face. In the training world, there's a method called the ADDIE model for building content. And basically, it's a roadmap for success. You analyze, design, develop, implement, and the E stands for evaluate. And that last step is the secret ingredient. If we're not constantly evaluating, how do we know where we are on the mountain? I recently heard that life is about adjustments. But if we're not evaluating, how do we know which adjustments to make to keep moving forward? Many times we skip this step entirely, charging head first into a routine, whether it's a workout, relationship, or career, without ever asking, is this even the right mountain? Is this actually taking me to where I want to go? We're like zombies on treadmills, going nowhere fast. Imagine hiking blindly, never checking your compass, just following every little pathway that comes along. You're wandering, and that's how you get lost. And that's where we are when we ignore evaluation. We just keep doing things, scrolling mindlessly, saying yes to every request, holding on to toxic relationships simply because, hey, that's just what we do. But what if we stopped the mindless wandering and started being intentional with our climb? What if we made calculated adjustments? And what if we embraced evaluation as our driving force and took ownership of our ascent? Perhaps we could slow down to get ahead. Perhaps instead of always being busy, we became productive. Tony Robbins loves to say that success is progress. And when we're scaling the right mountain and we look up and we're getting closer and closer to the top, I bet that feels pretty darn good. So take a moment. Pull out your metaphorical compass, whether it's your phone, your journal, that inner voice, and ask yourself, what habits are my climbing ropes pulling me to the top? And double down on those. And which ones are those crevices that threaten to swallow me up? And maybe it's time to cut those off. And where do I need to learn new climbing skills, whether through YouTube tutorials, maybe a inspiring podcast, maybe even a mentor? The right knowledge at the right time is power. And insanity, as Albert Einstein has said, is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. So let's take back control of our sanity. Let's lean in to the evaluation revolution and climb with purpose. Let's be intentional. Because when we evaluate, we adapt and evolve, the view from the top will not only be breathtaking, it will change who we are. So that we can not only climb this mountain, but we'll be ready to climb the next mountain and the next one after that. Now, if you've listened to me at all, you know that I like going on a morning run. And this morning, as I was hitting my last rest point, I thought about this episode and realized, look, it's not just about climbing and looking up at the mountaintop. It's also about evaluating where you are right now. And there's a tool in therapy and coaching to help you become instantly present and self-aware. So you simply just look at your hands for a moment. Well, let's do that now. Look at your hands, and that turns off your self-talk about where you're headed. And it allows you to focus on where you are. And then look around and realize how far you've already come. Take in everything that you've already built to get this far up the mountain that you're already on. Look at the entire landscape that you've already experienced and be proud of what you've accomplished. See, when you do this, that shot of dopamine that you receive will empower you. It will help strengthen you for the rest of your climb. So don't forget to look at your hands every once in a while. Look, you've only just begun, and you're not alone on this mountain. So share your journey with those around you, because we're all in this together, supporting one another as we continue to climb. And remember, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen. Sometimes I feel like a superhero, even though I don't look like one. And that's because when I was a kid, I used to use my telekinesis to change people's minds. Now, I'm sure we all did something similar, but I used to focus with all of my energy on getting my mom to say yes to allowing me to have that cookie. And another. And another. And guess what? It worked. Now, as I got older, I began to use my senses and my telekinesis in sales to convince people over the phone or in person to buy into the solution that I believed would help them solve their problem. Now, am I actually a superhero? Do I go out at night in spandex and save people? Of course not. But I believe that we all have the ability to be superheroes. And what I mean is, whatever we focus on, whatever we put our energy into, things start to happen. There's a momentum that we can create by simply using our telekinesis and our focus and our energy to move things along. If I stand still, if I close my eyes, turn up my ears, then all of a sudden, I can hear like a superhero. When I quiet my body and my mind, I'm more prepared for that TikTok challenge with my daughter, who loves to give me disgusting food while I'm blindfolded. And look, yes, I know it's mustard or hot sauce, but I breathe and I focus, and yeah, I brace for impact. When I really want to, I can look hundreds of feet away, squint just a little, and increase my eyesight just a touch. See, I don't have laser eyes like Superman, but I can heighten my senses when I choose to focus. And the same is true for all of us. Look, you may not have laser vision or telekinesis, of course, but you have something even more potent. You have you. Your unique blend of skills, experiences, and that ability that everyone talks about. See, when you tap into that, when you focus your energy on becoming the best version of yourself, that's when magical things start happening. You don't have to save lives to be a superhero. You don't have to do the incredible or the remarkable or the unbelievable. You just have to be the best version of yourself and allow yourself to focus. See, there's science behind this. A UCLA study found that the mere act of visualizing success actually activates the same brain regions as achieving that success. So when you close your eyes and you picture yourself nailing that presentation, or crushing the workout, or being completely present and available for your friends and family, your brain takes it as it's a done deal. It's like planting a mental seed. And with the right watering, aka action, some sweat, and yes, some of that grit, it blooms into reality. And especially when you put your energy on helping others, look, that's when you become a true superhero. I mean, think about it. That time that you spent mentoring a new colleague, or the extra mile you went to help a client succeed, or maybe the kind word that you offered to a stranger, those were your kryptonite bullets aimed at someone else's darkness, and you saved the day. Iron Man, one of my favorites, said it best: heroes are made by the path they choose, not the powers they are graced with. So it's not about flashy costumes, one-liners, or superpowers. It's not about perfection. It's about choosing the path of kindness, of growth, of being the best version of ourselves for ourselves, and yes, for those around us. So let's choose that path. Let's heighten our senses. Let's use our focus and our energy for the good of others and be superheroes together. Look, the world needs your unique brand of awesome. And your path, the one paved with good intentions, with fierce determination, and that special something that only you can bring, it's waiting to be written. Look, you have the power to shape your destiny. So go out there and make it happen.